Hello, everybody. So I have my intern, Miss Salas, here with me today, and I'm going to discuss with her on how to analyze data for iStation, since that's my focus for the first implementation activity. It's important that I teach her and guide her on how to analyze data because when she has her classroom, she's going to have to be able to follow the same footsteps to do that in her own classroom. So I'm just going to go over the basic steps on how I analyze data for iStation and what are the next steps to continue moving forward. So this is my data. As you can see, I highlight. There's a lot of highlighting. I'm making my little notes only for me to understand on how I'm going to have to differentiate and I have to personalize. So Ms. Salas, what I usually do is that I look at the overall score, which is all the components that they're testing in. And then once I look at the overall score, I look by component. And the overall score, it's going to let us know where they fall based on tier. So tier 1 is pretty much they're at grade level or above. And anything that's tier 2, that means sometimes they're right at grade level or they're a little bit significantly a little bit low. So that means there's some skills that they haven't mastered yet or it's taking them time to develop. And then there's a tier 3, which means they're below grade level. And there's ongoing struggles or significant struggles that they're not able to be at grade level or above grade level. So then the next step that I do is after I look the overall score, I look at each component and I always try to pick 1 or 2 components that they're very low in. So I can differentiate or personalize activities so they can practice that skill. So when they test the next month, hopefully they gain points in that specific component. Okay, and hopefully once they grow in that specific component, their overall score will go up. And they can either be in the same tier, but they made growth in the points, or they can possibly move to another tier completely. Okay, and then once I find out what area or 2 areas they're having a hard time in, that's gonna be able to guide my goal that I want to make with them. After I have these data talks with the students so they can see where they're having a hard time. Once they understand where they're having a hard time, even though right now it's still the beginning of the year and they're still getting kind of trained and I'm modeling on how to read their data for iStation, they will pick 1 goal with my guidance right now because they're still not fully independent on that. And then we see what it is that they want to work on, and then we talk about what kind of activities they think they can have, or I'm gonna help them find activities, or I'm gonna give them ideas on some things they can work on to get better in that goal. Mm-hmm. And then from there, I go on iStation, and they have a lot of activities on iStation based on those needs. And I can personalize. That means each student's going to have their own activities based on what they need to get better at and make growth. Or I can differentiate based on maybe some students have the same abilities, same weaknesses, and same strengths. So maybe I can assign them the same activity too. And then tiering. Tiering is when I just get a good group of students that have the same weakness in a certain component and they all do the same activity as well. But my goal this year for me is to personalize, which is kind of hard because you're trying to make them look and see what they're having a hard time in and them telling you ideas or what kind of activities they want to do to get better. And that's going to be hard because they're very little and they depend a lot on the teacher to make those decisions for them. But right now I'm making those decisions, but showing them how to start making them on their own. So hopefully once January comes around, which is the second semester, they can tell me, look, Miss Angeles, I'm not doing good in this area by looking at what you're showing me in my iStation. Maybe you can give me an activity or something online that I can work on. And I'll make that note and I'll look for it and I'll put it in either Google Classroom or on their Clever or even a hands-on activity. But hopefully I can get them to that point by January, if not at least by the end of the year. Because personalizing it's a little bit hard because you're making them do that choice. You're holding them accountable to see if they can really do the analyzing the data on their own and tell me this is what I need, this is how I'm going to learn it. What can you give me based on what I'm telling you on things I need help in. Okay? But right now we're in the differentiating where I'm making those choices for them, but I'm showing them how to do that. And I'm assigning the activities for that because they're still too little. It's the beginning of the year still. So that's how we go on with analyzing data. I'll go into more detail a little bit more when I dissect the numbers a little bit more every month because this is just data from the first month. We're finishing the second month, so I'll show you how I do that step by step. Okay? Any questions or anything? As of yet, it's still kind of new?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. All right.